The dichotomy of control in dating, what you can and cannot change about her. Most men waste years trying to change women who will never change. Epictetus, the former slave who became one of history's greatest philosophers, had a solution that's been ignored for 2,000 years. He taught that everything in life falls into two categories: things you control and things you don't. Master this distinction in dating, and you'll never waste another year on the wrong woman. Ignore it, and you'll repeat the same painful pattern until you're too exhausted to try anymore. Welcome to Stoic Path for Men. Today we're exploring the most powerful principle in Stoic philosophy, the dichotomy of control, and how it completely transforms your approach to dating and relationships. This isn't theory. This is the ancient framework that will save you from the trap 90% of men fall into, thinking they can fix, change, or convince a woman to become who they need her to be. Here's the problem most men face. You meet a woman. She has potential. Maybe she's 80% of what you want. So you invest your time, your energy, your emotions, convinced that you can influence that missing 20%. 6 months later, a year later, 3 years later, she's exactly who she was on day one, and you're exhausted, frustrated, and wondering why nothing changed. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what you can and cannot control in dating, why trying to change a woman is the fastest path to suffering, and most importantly, how to use the dichotomy of control to choose wisely from the start instead of hoping for transformation later. The Stoics discovered that peace comes not from controlling more, but from accepting what you never controlled in the first place. Let's dive into the ancient wisdom that will change how you date forever. Section 2. The dichotomy explained. Epictetus opened his most famous work, the Enchiridion, with these words: "Some things are within our power, while others are not. Within our power are opinion, motivation, desire, aversion, and in a word, whatever is of our own doing. Not within our power are our body, our property, reputation, office, and in a word, whatever is not of our own doing." This is the foundation of Stoic philosophy, the dichotomy of control. Everything in your life falls into one of two categories: things you control, your thoughts, your choices, your actions, your reactions, your effort, your character. Things you don't control, other people, external events, outcomes, the past, the future, and, yes, her. Here's what this means for dating. You control whether you approach her. You don't control whether she's interested. You control what standards you set. You don't control whether she meets them. You control whether you stay or leave. You don't control who she is at her core. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome who could command armies and shape empires, still wrote in his private journals, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. If the most powerful man in the ancient world accepted he couldn't control others, why do you think you can control her? The brutal truth most men refuse to accept. Her character is not within your control. Her values are not within your control. Her past choices are not within your control. Her desire to grow or stay stagnant is not within your control. Her attraction to you, her commitment to you, her respect for you, all of these can be influenced but never controlled. Epictetus taught, "Do not seek to have events happen as you want them to, but instead want them to happen as they do happen, and your life will go well." Applied to dating, this means, do not seek to have her be who you want her to be. Accept who she actually is, and choose accordingly. This is where most men destroy themselves. They meet a woman, they see red flags, they notice incompatibilities, but instead of accepting reality, they create a fantasy. They tell themselves, "She'll change once she sees how good I am. She'll mature with time. She'll realize what she's missing. She'll appreciate me eventually. She just needs the right man to bring out her best." The Stoics would call this delusion. You're trying to control what cannot be controlled. And that is the definition of suffering. Section 3. What you cannot control. Let's get specific about what you cannot control about her. You cannot control her level of self-discipline. If she lacks temperance now, your presence won't create it. Self-control is a virtue cultivated over years, not something you inspire into existence by being a good man. Seneca wrote, "Most powerful is he who has himself in his own power." If she doesn't have herself in her own power when you meet her, she won't suddenly develop it because you showed up. You cannot control her emotional regulation. If she's emotionally volatile, reactive, and unstable now, that's who she is. You can't calm the storm inside someone else. Marcus Aurelius knew this. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. He's talking about obstacles revealing character. Her inability to handle obstacles reveals her character. You don't control that character. You cannot control her past or how it shaped her. Every woman comes with history, trauma, patterns, previous relationships, family dynamics. These shaped her long before you arrived. You can be understanding, you can be patient, but you cannot undo years of conditioning. The Stoics taught acceptance of what is, not delusion about what could be. You cannot control her attraction to you. This is the hardest truth for men to accept. Attraction isn't negotiable. It's not earned through logic or good behavior or time. Either she feels it or she doesn't. You can be the best version of yourself, and that might spark attraction. But you cannot convince, argue, or nice guy your way into her desire. Epictetus would tell you her attraction is an external. Let it go. You cannot control her values and priorities. If she values attention, status, and validation above loyalty, depth, and growth, that's her hierarchy. You might disagree with it. You might wish she valued different things, but her value system was formed long before you met her. It's not within your control to reprogram her priorities. You cannot control her commitment level. Some women are ready for partnership, some aren't. Some will never be, no matter how perfect you are. Her readiness for commitment is not something you create. It's something she brings, or doesn't bring, to the table. The Stoics taught, focus on what you bring. Release attachment to what she brings. You cannot control whether she respects you. Respect is earned, yes. But it's also given or withheld based on her character. A woman of high character respects strength, integrity, and virtue. A woman of low character might resent those very qualities. You control whether you embody what's worthy of respect. You don't control whether she has the capacity to recognize and value it. Here's what Seneca wrote. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Most men suffer because they imagine they have control they don't actually have. They imagine they can change her, fix her, or save her. They waste years in this imagination. Then, reality hits, and they realize they never had that power. The dichotomy of control teaches you to stop suffering in imagination. Accept what you don't control. Focus entirely on what you do. Section 4. What you do control. Now let's talk about your power. What you actually control in dating. You control your standards. This is your first and most important power. Epictetus taught, know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly. Know what you require in a partner. Not prefer. Require. Self-control, emotional stability, honesty, growth orientation, respect, femininity, loyalty. Write them down. Make them non-negotiable. This is within your control. Most men have no standards. They take whoever shows interest. Then they wonder why they end up with women who don't respect them. The Stoics would say, you controlled your standards. You chose to have none. The outcome is on you. You control your vetting process. This is where your power lives. You cannot change who she is, but you can discover who she is before you commit. Watch her actions, not her words. Observe how she handles stress, disagreement, and disappointment. Test her character through time and varied situations. Ask about her past and listen for patterns. Notice how she treats others when there's nothing to gain. This is all within your control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be." Be one. Applied here. Waste no more time hoping she'll become a good woman. Discover whether she already is one. You control your boundaries. Boundaries are the framework of self-respect. What behavior you will and will not tolerate. What treatment you will and will not accept. What standards you will and will not compromise. Seneca taught, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Your boundaries are the friction that reveals character, hers and yours. If she violates a boundary and you do nothing, that's on you. You controlled your response and chose weakness. The Stoics were obsessed with self-mastery. That includes mastery over your own standards. Hold them, or admit you never had them. You control whether you stay or leave. This is your ultimate power in any relationship. Every single day, you choose to be there or not be there. If she's not meeting your standards, if red flags are waving, if your gut is screaming warnings, you control whether you ignore it and stay or honor yourself and leave. Most men give away this power. They tell themselves they're trapped, they're invested, they've spent too much time. Sunk cost fallacy. The Stoics would destroy this thinking in seconds. Epictetus taught, "It is not events that disturb people, it is their judgments concerning them." You judge that leaving is a loss. That's your judgment, not reality. You control your judgment. Change it. You control your own development. While you cannot control her growth, you absolutely control yours. Your physical strength, mental discipline, financial power, emotional mastery, philosophical depth. Every day you choose whether to become more or settle for less. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself in your way of thinking. Build yourself into a man of such quality that high-quality women are attracted and low-quality women self-select out. This is entirely within your control." Most men try to control her instead of building themselves. The Stoics would call this backwards thinking. You control your response to rejection, to betrayal, to disappointment. She might leave you. She might choose someone else. She might reveal herself to be different than you thought. You don't control these outcomes, but you absolutely control whether you collapse or stand stronger, whether you become bitter or better, whether you learn or repeat. Seneca wrote, "A setback has often cleared the way for greater prosperity." Your worst relationship outcomes, handled with Stoic principles, become your greatest teachers, but only if you control your response. Here's the freedom in all of this. When you accept what you don't control and focus entirely on what you do control, dating becomes simpler. Not easier. Simpler. You stop wasting energy trying to change her. You invest that energy into choosing wisely and building yourself. Section 5. The practical application. Let's make this concrete with real scenarios. Scenario 1. You've been dating her for 3 months. You notice she's emotionally reactive. Small issues become big drama. You think, if I'm just more patient, more understanding, she'll calm down. I can be her stability. The Stoic response. You're trying to control what you cannot control, her emotional regulation. That's her responsibility, not yours. What you control. Whether you accept this pattern as permanent, or whether you recognize the incompatibility and choose differently. Epictetus would ask, is peace within your control when you're with someone who creates chaos? Number. Is leaving within your control? Yes. Choose accordingly. Scenario 2. She's amazing in many ways, but she's addicted to social media validation, constantly posting for attention, keeping orbiters around, measuring her worth by likes and comments. You think, once she feels secure with me, she won't need that external validation anymore. I'll show her she's enough. The Stoic response: her need for validation is not within your control. Her sense of self-worth is not within your control. What you control: your standard about what kind of woman you build with. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself." If her happiness is outside herself, in validation and attention, you cannot fix that. You can only decide if you'll accept it or not. Scenario 3. She has a victim mentality. Every problem in her life is someone else's fault. Her ex was terrible. Her boss is unfair. Her friends betrayed her. She takes zero responsibility. You think, I'll show her that not all men are bad. I'll be different. She'll see that she can trust me and start taking ownership. The Stoic response: you're assuming you can teach her the core Stoic principle of personal responsibility. But that's developed through self-reflection and practice, not by osmosis from being around you. Seneca taught, as long as you live, keep learning how to live. If she's not learning, not growing, not taking ownership, that's who she is. You control whether you sign up for that reality. You don't control whether she changes it. Scenario 4. You meet someone new. She seems great. You notice small red flags, but tell yourself you're being too picky. Everyone has flaws. You should give her a chance. Maybe those flags won't matter. The Stoic response: red flags are information. Your vetting process is within your control. The Stoics practiced something called premeditatio malorum, negative visualization. They imagined potential problems in advance. Apply this here. If these red flags were permanent, would you still choose this? If the answer is no, then you're hoping she'll change. That's trying to control what you cannot control. Epictetus would say, see clearly now, choose wisely now, rather than hoping for change later. Here's the pattern. In every scenario, men get in trouble when they focus on what they cannot control, who she is, and neglect what they can control, their choice to accept or reject that reality. The dichotomy of control doesn't mean you're cold or judgmental. It means you're clear-sighted. You see her as she is, not as you hope she'll become. Then you make a conscious choice based on reality, not fantasy. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." But here's the truth beneath perspective. Her patterns are facts. Her repeated behaviors are facts. Her demonstrated character is fact. Stop filtering facts through the opinion that she'll change. Accept the facts. Control your response. In Section 6, Conclusion. Let's bring this full circle. The dichotomy of control is the most liberating principle in Stoic philosophy. When you truly internalize it, you stop wasting energy on what you cannot control, her character, her choices, her growth, and you pour all your power into what you can control, your standards, your vetting, your boundaries, your response, your development. Epictetus taught, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. You want freedom in dating? Stop trying to control her. Control yourself. Choose wisely. Walk away from incompatibility. Build yourself into someone worthy of a high-quality woman. All of that is within your power. Here's what the Stoics knew that modern men forget. The right woman doesn't need to be fixed, convinced, or changed. She shows up already embodying the qualities you require. Your job isn't to create those qualities. Your job is to recognize them, or recognize their absence, and choose accordingly. Marcus Aurelius faced the weight of an empire, yet he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. You have power over your choice of partner. You don't have power over who she is. Realize this, and dating becomes clearer, not easier, clearer. Your immediate action. Take out a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle. On the left, write, what I control. On the right, write, what I don't control. Now list everything about your current dating situation or relationship. Be honest about what falls into each category. Then ask yourself, am I wasting energy trying to control what I cannot? Where should I be focusing instead? If you found value in this video, subscribe to Stoic Path for Men for weekly videos on ancient wisdom applied to modern men's challenges. We're building a community of men who choose strength over suffering, clarity over delusion, action over hope. Next week, we're exploring the Stoic Guide to Screening Women, what to look for in the first 30 days. You'll learn the specific behaviors and patterns that reveal character early, before you invest time in the wrong person. Here's my question for you. What have you tried to change about a woman that you now realize was never in your control? Drop a comment below. Your experience might save another man from years of wasted effort. Remember what Seneca taught. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Stop imagining you can change her. Accept reality. Control what you can. Choose wisely. Walk the Stoic path.